Women's College World Series Championship Series is now officially locked in.
Yeah.
Starting the day yesterday, Texas and Texas Tech needed to both go 2-0 against elite competition. Texas facing Tennessee, Texas Tech facing Alabama. They both had to be perfect yesterday, and they managed to pull it off, both of them sweeping yesterday, a combined 4-0 to move on to the Women's College World Series Championship Series. But maybe the most off-the-wall, zaniest thing we heard all day yesterday came courtesy of Holly Rowe.
Some sources in the Texas dugout who have given me an incredible story on Hannah Wells. She has a superstition dating back to childhood that if she sees a ladybug, she eats it for good luck, swallows it whole.
What?
And so I was told that at the SEC tournament in Kentucky, she had a nice home run and she had ingested a ladybug before that.
My favorite part,
favorite
part about that is the
Yeah.
she delivers the. It's
appropriate.
That is unbelievable.
That's a lot of information.
Appropriate response.
Yeah.
As I saw somebody post in reaction to all of this, like, this is the thing that you tell to a reporter to see if they'll actually say it out loud.
Or like how Ken Jennings was on Jeopardy for however many episodes, and he's like, I ran out of anecdotes, I started making stuff up.
Or like to what Mike's saying, it's like back when I forget if it was like the Rolling Stones or somebody had in their contract put green M&Ms in the jar or something like that to see whether or not they've read through the whole thing, see what you can get through.
If this is true, how did this start?
That's a
She
great
was a child.
question.
It was when she was young.
Like, I don't think
that's not far off, I'm sure.
Holly Rowe is one of the best of the best of the best. So I don't think Holly Rowe got here. But if you're going to get on something like this that's just kind of like a funny anecdote, not the end of the world.
I think
if this is
you
real,
mispronounced disgusting.
well, it is. Yeah, I'll co-sign that. I'm not saying that I'm like joining her at the dinner table eating.
Have you eaten
ladybugs?
No.
Okay.
Have you met her?
She just said it like people eat crickets, so I'm like I'd never eaten a bug before, so I don't know.
People also get movie references. Like, it doesn't apply to me.
But was she just like
she is swinging
was she just
today,
like
man.
on the field one day and one just like accidentally flew in her mouth and she just went with it and then like hit a home run right after that and was like, oh.
Okay, these are some really good follow-up questions. I'm sure Holly's probably going to have something more for us during this
I would hope so.
Championship
I
series.
would hope so.
So now, even more reason to tune in.
So wait, Kelly, have you eaten a bug?
Accidentally, probably. I don't know, but I never I've never correlated it to my skill in doing anything in my life. It's
They
not like,
say
oh,
you
if I
eat 8 spiders in your life,
yeah,
right?
it's like
in
oh,
your
I ate
sleep.
it. Like
It's like
my
it's just
skill
like
at
they
directing
crawl
comes
in
from the fact that I eat a spider every day.
Who says that? the interweb that you got that from?
You've never heard this?
That facial expression is
It's
great.
amazing.
I was
I
saying
would
thank
just
you,
ruin
Kelly,
a
because I
thing.
know I'm not alone in having heard
There's
this.
so much
This is
material
the
from this show.
Well, I'm just saying, Mike just made that up, no doubt. But
No, he did not. No,
make
it's
that up. That's
there's
a thing.
there's like a stat going around on Twitter.
Eight-hole spiders?
I don't know if it's 8-hole spiders. It was like 0.0187 people annually eat a spider, which is basically like 1 out of,
Okay.
Anyway,
There is a popular myth that the average person swallows 8 spiders a year.
Sorry for yelling. I'm sorry for
So,
You didn't yell.
so you are only about a month and a half away from your next spider in your sleep.
Set your calendar.
like,
And
Because
that's
you
only
just
because
did it
you
last
had one last night.
Exactly.
Michael.
We've gone completely off the
I
rails
have
this
a point.
entire
I
show.
have a point.
Okay.
Other than wanting to really use my words here. Okay. This is what I was going to say. Of all the bugs that she could have chosen to eat for good luck, at least a ladybug is cute. I'm pretty sure they have luck associated with them. Like, I would rather her be eating a ladybug than a spider.
But
or
a
cricket.
ladybug also has the ability, like when it's threatened, it emits that smell.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And I imagine as you're like, as you're popping it in, like a Skittle.
As the one who I think put this off the rails to begin with, I'm going to try to get us back on track. Mike, tell us about the game.
Yeah, let's talk about the softball because they were unbelievable. Game 1 for Texas. The story for me here was Citlali Gutierrez because Tegan Kavan is the pitcher that everybody knows from UT, and she's terrific, and you should know Tegan Kavan. But Gutierrez was able to come in and pitch 6+ innings, and I think this is 29. This is the ladybug
30,
video again. But anyway, Texas wins game 1.
You pulled up the ladybug shot again
to force game 2. And in game 2, Tegan Cavan went absolutely bananas. 10 strikeouts, dominating performance, shut out Tennessee, and Texas sweeps their end of the doubleheader, their portion of the day at 11, and then like 2:15 is when the second game ended up starting. Texas wins both of their games. So then Texas Tech, trying to set up a rematch in the championship series. If we can go to 32, this is game 1 for Texas Tech. Taylor Panel, watch this play. How the left fielder from Alabama doesn't make this catch. She didn't jump.
It was
and
almost
look at how
jarring.
close it was.
It was jarring watching it live.
Yes.
I'm not kidding, because it felt like
Moten, the freshman pitcher
Yes.
from Alabama, is like, how did you not catch that ball?
I can hear my dad going, "You need to reach for it, Kelly."
Yes. Yes.
They literally
Like,
came back from
going back 30 years to when I played softball. You need to reach for it, Kelly.
So Alabama ties it up 4-4, top of the 7th, but bottom of the 7th, Mia Williams comes to the plate. Jason Williams' daughter, who we've talked about already on this show once or twice before, hits the walk-off in the bottom of the 7th. So Tech wins game 1 of the doubleheader, forces game 2. And then in game 2, this was vintage Nyjah Kennedy, who has not been as good this year as she was last year, as she's been throughout the majority of her career. Wasn't super healthy, spent basically all season trying to get healthy, has had struggles even through this playoff run. But last night went to a completely different level, 2-hit shutout, pitched all 7 innings, dominated the game, and Texas Tech sweeps their end of the doubleheader as well. So now you get, for the first time since 2003 and 2004, a rematch in the Women's College World Series, and it's the first time that it's in the championship series. Ridiculous day of softball, and the state of Texas once again owns collegiate softball.
I mean, listen, yesterday was crazy because, again, that started from 11 practically, right? Or was it 10?
11, yeah.
Was it okay?
Yeah.
So 11 to 11, because like the last game ended right around 11:15, 11:20.
Sounds about right, yeah.
You had 12 hours of great softball content, and for those of us that have covered the sport, you can get invested in those, especially in these that I call them losers bracket runs because they're coming back from loser's side. It's a double elimination tournament. You lose early in the tournament, you still have a chance to salvage it later on. That's what ended up happening. But getting the drama of knowing your back's against the wall and the other team has a chance to knock you out every time they're up at bat. The other part of it, though, is I cannot imagine what that Alabama outfielder is going through right now, because that literally the game-winning home run happens in the next inning. If all she does is leap a little bit more or track the ball a little bit better, because you can tell just judging it, really she thought it was. She thought she was under it.
Yeah.
She thought she had it, and then the next thing you know, it's over, and there's no coming back from that. That was crazy.
You saw the pitcher's reaction in the moment, like that looked so genuine. I mean, I don't know the inner workings of their team dynamic and relationship or what was said afterwards or whatever, but I mean, you could see how frustrated she was in the moment. So yeah, that's a great point. I think the fact that we're not watching Oklahoma play in this is, I'm not even saying that as an annoying Texas alum. Like, it is
you
weird.
You are saying it part of a Texas alum.
Yeah. It's just, but having basically been introduced to the sport via the Patty Gasso dynasty.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like,
most people
weird.
were in the last decade and a half. Yeah.
And to their credit, they get a lot of recognition for putting it in the place and in the spotlight that it is now.
Yes.
So, and the fact that it's played in Oklahoma City, I mean, you guys get it.
Yeah.
But all of that is to say, it is kind of weird not seeing the Sooners being one of these teams we're talking about right now.
For them to not even make it to Oklahoma City was stunning.
Well, how many, I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but how many times I'm not even talking about being in the final. Or
like not make the field. Yeah.
It's been a while since they haven't been in the tournament. But the fact that we're getting a rematch is... you talked about early on in just the postseason for the NCAA tournament, like how crazy some of these storylines have been.
Yes.
And how wild it's been getting to this point. Yesterday felt like just a continuation of that. So I feel like what we're getting set up for and what we're about to see in the World Series finale, like it's going to be great.
To answer your question, first time in 9 seasons that
haven't
Oklahoma
been in-
is not in the Women's College World Series.
Speaking of the storylines, and I don't want to get into a discussion about this particular storyline, but did Tennessee get cocky with what we know what happened a few days ago with the storyline we're not going to talk about?
With what are you talking about? With the player
Tech?
from Tech?
Yeah.
I don't know if necessarily cocky off of that, because they won the game.
Yeah, but then they came in yesterday. Did it seem like they already thought they had it sewn up?
I don't know. I mean, they're playing a Texas team yesterday that now is in the championship series for the 4th time in 5 years. If you came in not knowing what you had to deal with Texas, you're kidding yourself. Tennessee's fantastic, and they've got two unbelievable pitchers in Marjetko and Carlin Pickens, and both of them Texas was able to handle yesterday. Texas was just better yesterday. And I don't know that it was necessarily a mental thing.
Obviously, I know that we're going to get to see this again because Texas and Texas Tech are now going to go on to play each other in the championship. But it kind of felt a little bit like when we were talking about the Stars playing the Wild, where it's like this is what we wanted to see all along, was these really exciting games, and it's like now it's not even the finale, or like the Miracle on Ice game, which wasn't even the gold medal winning game. It's like we reached the peak already, or are we about to see some more fantastic softball?
Last year's World Series championship was awesome.
Yes,
like the drama of it around Nyjah pitching, around like the duel between those two was spectacular. Knowing the arms, knowing the bats that are on these teams going into this. And as Mike has brought up a couple times this week, what Texas Tech has had to deal with.
And their
go ahead.
Yeah.
And their ability to be down by 100 runs and still come back to win, no matter what inning, no matter how many outs are left.
Yeah.
Down 8-0 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th against Ole Miss in the regional was ridiculous to come back and win that game 10-8.
Are you not entertained?
Truly.
Reference.
Texas Tech has an opportunity for the all-time take that championship because the SEC, frankly speaking, did not want to play them this season. One SEC team played Texas Tech. They played Texas A&M one time back on February 7th. That was it. Last year, Texas Tech played Mississippi State at the Leadoff Classic. They played Texas twice at UT's tournament. They played 2 games against A&M at the Aggies tournament. This year, they played in the McNeese tournament, they played in the Shiners Children's Clearwater Invitational, and the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. In those early season tournaments, you can kind of pick and choose who you want to play against. In those tournaments, the Shriners tournament, the Clearwater Invitational, LSU, Georgia, Tennessee, Mizzou, and Texas A&M were all there. None of them played Texas Tech. The Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic, Auburn and Texas A&M were there. Neither of them played Texas Tech. Had an impact just a little bit on Texas Tech's RPI this season. Part of why they had an RPI of 13, part of why they ended up as the number 11 seed. And now they have a chance, if they finish it, long way between here and finishing it.
Yeah.
But if they finish it, they would roll through Ole Miss, Florida, Mississippi State, Alabama, and Texas to win a championship. If Jerry Glasgow and company are able to do that, mic drop. And that will feel really good, I'm sure, for all of them.
Avoid us during the season. You got to deal with us later.
Yes. And it was noticed. Let's just put it that way. It was noticed that nobody wanted to, because a lot of teams, and not just in the SEC, were upset about the recruiting that Texas Tech has done and the money that they've put in the pockets of a lot of these players, which is interesting because everybody seems to be just fine with football players, men's basketball players, baseball players making a whole bunch of money, but softball players, all of a sudden women start getting money dropped in their pockets for playing collegiate sports, and everybody's like, whoa, we can't be doing this. This isn't cool.
Are we going to have a fair wage
discussion? It's kind of hypocritical, is it not?
And look, in this 4 box is split too.
Well, considering that the SEC
Hang on, how can I move over on that side?
I mean, I know
I moved the wrong direction.
I know the Big Ten is obviously paying their players as well, but when it comes to the SEC, they have deeper NIL pockets than any other conference collectively.
Heck yeah, they do.
So yeah, they're paying every player of any sport. So yes, to your point,
they are all doing it. And yet, for some reason, Tech is the only one that is kind of like propped up as this poster child of every team has got 11, 12, 13 transfers coming into their roster, including Texas.
Yeah.
It's interesting the way that this discussion has matriculated through.
Probably
through the
because
season.
like they aren't considered a quote unquote blue blood. If you
Right.
really want to go down there, like
Yeah.
that they're not an SEC school. They are taking advantage of the fact that Texas and OU are no longer in the conference. So
Yeah.
if they want to be the heavy players, let them and bring on the championship. I want to see what this looks like again.